Imagine being so emotionally involved in whatever decision or thing that happens in your life. You have this empathetic connection to this relationship, this decision, or whatever it may be that comes across your path in life. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but this emotional connection sometimes leads you to extreme, meaning you get rejected when it comes to some type of project you put in for, or you get rejected when it comes to something else. But the feeling is so intense and so real that you just don't want to deal with it, and you try to analyze, why do I feel this way? What is the root cause of it? Why am I letting it affect me so badly? And honestly, for years I wondered this about some things that happened in my life. I would go to yoga, I would go through the flow, but I couldn't get the thing out of my mind because I was constantly thinking about what happened and why I feel so intensely about this decision or this impact on my life. It wasn't until later on that I discovered that I probably have ADHD, and it's real. I get anxious, I get depressed, I get a little overwhelmed by things, and on top of that, I have PTSD. But I think the best thing that helped me deal with it wasn't going back for more yoga. It wasn't just really overanalyzing it again and again in my head, which happens so often more than not. It was basically stopping for a second and giving myself a breath of fresh air, going for a walk, being with my dogs, or just really embracing that moment and experiencing the emotion for what it really is, the emotion for what it really felt like. And being in that moment and experiencing it helped me get past that particular emotion or feeling that I was experiencing because of that decision, that choice, that impact I had because of the empathy or the empathetic feeling that related in my life. And it's not easy, make no mistake, because you wonder, why do I feel such a certain way? But when you recognize that you can feel such a certain way about such a feeling or reaction to something, that's the first step in recognizing that you can overcome this easily. You can get past this, you can move on, and it's not the end of the world. And I know sometimes overwhelm is really intense. Overwhelm is insane. The overwhelm is so incredibly strong with this one that you are still working on getting to that point, that recognizing it can be overcome and past that point. But it takes time. It takes your ability to recognize it and your consistency. And yes, you'll mess up along the way, but your ability to know that you can get past whatever this empathy or emotion is you're experiencing, that you want to moved past because you feel a certain way. You feel so strongly, so emotionally attached to it. You feel so attached to this emotion that sometimes it impacts you throughout the day. Sometimes it goes on for more than a day. And I can't say this hasn't happened to me, because it has so many times in the past, that when you get to that point, you have to separate reality from your mind. You have to tell your mind that it's okay. You have to tell your mind that you can move past this particular point in your life and you can move forward. But the only thing holding you back is your mind itself. I know, it sounds ironic, right? But think of it this way. When you have this strong emotion and you really want to get past that point, you separate yourself from it and think, why do I feel so intensely? What can I do to overcome this? And what are the ways I can harbor this feeling or really wrangle it so it doesn't affect me with what I'm doing right now? And then when you have time, sit in meditation. Tell yourself that you have to let this feeling go back into the universe. Let it go and tell yourself everything's going to be okay. There's other alternatives, and I feel this way because of this. Maybe journaling will help. But really, in reality, this intense emotion is so incredible that sometimes you just want to give up with your job, your project, whatever you're working on that has caused this emotion. And I promise this too shall pass. It passes for me often, but I have to remind myself that I cannot let it impact myself. Sometimes I need to take a break, take a drink of water, go on a walk, and really embrace the moment for what it is. Really experience that emotion. If you have to, sit there, cry, do whatever you need to be here for the moment, because honestly, the best thing you can do for your body and your mind is experiencing it. And then it passes. And sometimes when you experience it, you feel everything all at once. And I think that when you see things for what they are, and you really embrace the moment, you have the ability to look beyond it and see into the future and see that this is only ruining your present moment, and this is only deterring you from what you have here right now outside of that emotion. Emotion is fleeting. Emotion is not permanent, which is amazing. Emotion is something that passes by each day with us. We feel sad, we feel happy, we feel incredible, we feel burnt out, we feel overwhelmed. And I think that our emotion gets the best of us when we feel overwhelmed. We're doing too much in such a short amount of time, or we're doing way too many tasks at once and have too many obligations, and we aren't prioritizing our feelings, our personal self, and valuing what we need to in our life at that moment. And so we feel so intensely. I also personally am an intense feeler and empathetic person. So when I feel other people's, moods and stuff, sometimes I need to take a break from social media, a break from reality, a break to change up my environment and be present in a different place where you separate yourself, and you go to the beach, you go on a walk, you go to a new place, go to a coffee shop. But honestly, it's, sometimes it can be crazy, it can be overbearing, it can be incredibly restraining, and I think that the best thing we can do for ourselves is take that break and experience it. And when we get to that point and we're beyond that, we know that for the next time that we made it through, and there is possibility that we can get through the next one. We have the ability to see what we used to get over that emotion and to move on past the intense feelings that we have, and to move past it toward the next part in our life and be more present with ourselves, be more able to live in the moment. When we lose the ability to live in the moment, we are losing ourselves the ability to be present for not only our friends and family, but for ourselves, and really appreciate the moment for what it is, which is incredibly such a gift. I can't even explain how enjoyable and perfect it is to be able to be present in the moment. And you cannot be present in the moment or present with yourself unless you know how to release what doesn't serve you in this world. And things will bog you down anytime that you let them bog you down. So just remember that being intentional with your time and your mind, and telling your mind to reset itself. Your mindset is everything in this world, and you create your own reality. So if you tell yourself it's going to be okay several times over and over again, you tell yourself you're confident, you're amazing, you're incredible, that's how you will feel. That's how you will be, because your mind has such incredible power over your body and everything else. And neglecting this incredible gift that we have for ourselves, and knowing that mindset is everything, is truly what's intentional, especially related to how emotion and intensity happens. When we feel intensely, I think it's a gift. And I think it's often overlooked that it can be a gift because we have this ability that others don't have. We have this humanitarian ability to connect with others on a different level than most humans, I don't think, can, unless they're an empathetic person. Not saying other people cannot feel emotionally, but having this deep sense of feeling, I think every person does have the ability to go deep into and connect with others on the same level. However, a lot of people don't really work on it, and they don't understand, and they don't want to take the time to be there. They want to be surface level, which I think is pretty challenging, because when you get surface level, you're really not experiencing life for what it is. You're not experiencing life for its incredible gifts, and you're not experiencing or knowing your purpose in this world. So when you know that mindset, purpose, and your emotional reality are so incredibly connected, it's such valuable information that can be shared, and it can help you, guide you through life. when you feel intensely about a certain situation or the way things turned out, remember to turn to your mindset, to tell yourself it's going to be okay over and over again, and replay that thing and build new neuro lines in your brain to be able to calm yourself down, because it's 100% possible, and you have that ability and you have this gift.